most women have to work.
It just makes more sense.
So all of this paying all your bills, like, who do you think you are? Like, who are these guys? Like, and then you think you're supposed to be the only one to fuck with this guy too. This unicorn of a guy.
It's unrealistic.
It's all some fantasy shit, and we need to stop selling this shit to our daughters and our. You know
it's funny. It kind of goes back to the polygamy thing, because if they're able to do that, they're probably able to have multiple women, right? It's like
exactly.
It all ties together. Yeah,
exactly. Aren't there more?
And I didn't know like super like polygamy type guy, but I see like where it could come from if you have the resources. You know.
First of all, aren't there more women than the men?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that
especially if you consider in the black community, men that get killed, go to jail,
yeah,
and then men that are being turned to homosexuality, right?
Yeah.
So now, what percentage does that leave of regular heterosexual men that are out here? Like, what does that leave as the pool for women? And women, if you want for your sister what you want for yourself,
learn to share, I guess.
Why?
It's terrible.
You know what I mean?
It's terrible, but it makes
I'm
sense.
just saying, if you want for your sister what you want for yourself, she's crying, I ain't got a good man, and you got a good man, but you trying to huddle him to yourself.
Yeah.
He got plenty of sperm to go around. He got millions.
You know what? I cannot with you.
I'm just saying. Like, we got to keep it real here.
We got to keep it real. It's very unrealistic. You know what's more unrealistic for me, my experience, is that, you know, in the media business, music business, women are a lot more open to the concept of just understanding that you're going to meet a lot of different people and things are not always going to be linear, right? You might have multiple situations going on, and that might be true especially for men, right? Women, it's still a little whatever.
It's not good for women.
Exactly. And we know that. But for men, when you're in the music
you say we know that. I don't know if everybody knows
I think
that.
most people get that in the music business. I think women in the music business kind of understand that. I think
sometimes people do things that aren't good for themselves, right?
I think a lot of women are starting to think, well, if a man can do it, I can do it. And it's not.
It's very unhealthy. That's not a good way to live.
Equal is not identical.
That's right.
Mm-mm.
That's right. But what I was thinking about was when I work in like the corporate settings or like just the other settings that I'm faced with, and I hear women talk about like their dream relationship or you know, what's their ideal match. I personally always feel like if you haven't found that already, it doesn't probably exist. Right?
Say that again?
If you haven't, like, if you are a woman at a certain age, right? And you haven't found your ideal man, maybe the ideal man doesn't exist. Maybe you need to readjust
your ideals,
what your ideals are. And then when you hear a woman say like, all the men I know that I've been with cheated on me, for example, well, maybe that's because men are wired a little differently, or the men you choose to be with are wired differently. Maybe they're a little bit more sexual than you initially thought, or whatever. So there's all these factors that I think about when I'm hearing women complain about common trends with men. So it's always cheating and it's always providing. Those are the two things that are talked about the most. And then I wonder, like, well, maybe we need to be readjusting our mindsets.
You know, I just had this conversation. Let's bring it up, because you said about the providing, right?
Yeah.
And I thought about that. And you know how they try to say the man is the provider and all of that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's where they got our minds twisted.
That's right.
Because you know why? I think nature says that the woman is the provider. You know, like, the woman provides the birth canal. She provides the passageway for me to come into this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then immediately she provides the nutrition.
For you to survive.
She provides the love for the baby.
Mm-hmm.
She provides the teaching of the baby. Like naturally, she's a provider. You know what a man is? A protector.
That's right. I agree with that.
A man is a protector and almost the damn servant of the woman.
That's right. I agree
seriously.
with that.
Like he's the one that while she's providing all those things,
Yep.
he's the one that's building the house. He's the one that if any motherfuckers come and try to fuck with, he's the one that's protecting that shit.
Mm.
And I think where it got twisted, where the man became the provider when we went from like agriculture to hunter-gatherer, like where the man was now expected to go out and kill meat.
Well, hunter-gatherer was first before agriculture.
Is that what they tell you? That's what they tell us. You wasn't there, so you don't know that. You see?
That's what I've read.
And this is right.
That's what I've read.
And so
but
this
yeah,
is how
I
they
see what you
switched
mean.
it up.
Okay.
Right? So let's say agriculture was first, which women are great at planting shit and gardens and right?
I know I am.
I don't like gardening.
I love it.
Right. Women know about just recipes
soil
and just all of that type of shit. Like that's like more of a woman's wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But then send the man out there to like go get the fucking barley and lift that shit in here with the hay. You know what I mean? Like
Now we go to the store. Now we gotta go to the store though these days.
right. But that's what I'm saying. But that's some bullshit. And that's a way to take God out of the equation because really we don't need to go to the store. All your food comes out the ground. God literally,
Really? Seriously.
like it's everywhere.
Seriously.
Like the money don't grow on trees, but food does.
You know, you
Like food
excellent
literally grows on trees.
excellent point. I went to Guyana,
That's where my people's from.
right? And so that's where my people are from as well. And I was just like in awe because every fruit I could think of was in the backyard.
Right.
And
Right?
you just go grab it off the tree.
And you just go grab it off
And
the
nobody
tree.
charges you anything.
And people
And
barter.
all you got to do is give thanks to God.
I've been to Jamaica, same thing.
Yeah, and people barter. They're like, "Oh, you want a mango? Give me a banana or whatever, whatever fruit is available." But the point is that the fruit grew from the earth. And now I understand all my Caribbean family when I was growing up, because all they always talked about the United States and how the United States only gets money from you. And they would always say, "Oh, in America, all they do is know how to take your money." And that's like the common saying. And now as I get older, I'm like, wow, we got to pay for fruit. We got to pay for parking. We got to pay, it's all the things we got to pay for. Yeah, they just taking my money.
So now when you can get the fruit off the tree, it makes you thankful to nature, to
Yes.
God, to,
Yes.
whatever that you want to call that. When you have to make money and all of that side, you're thankful to your boss and stuff like that.
That's
you
right.
See, they're trying to
Separate.
put themselves in the place of God.
Money's a created reality. We only love money because everybody values money, right? It's not actually real in a lot of ways.
Right. Well, they believe that you need it in order to get certain things, but you don't.
You could just get the thing directly, you're saying. Yeah.
If we were going according to how shit is supposed to be. But it's because we believe we've been deceived into believing certain things. And this is
What's the number one deception?
Oh man, there's too many. The number one deception.
There's so many.
I know there's so many, and it's so like this simple shit that they just lie about.
In one sentence, you can't give me the number one deception?
The number one deception is that the devil is stronger than God.
Mm.
That's probably the number one. Just that he's smarter and better than God. And I mean, that's the whole premise on the transgender shit, right?
Okay.
Like as if God made a mistake, right? And these motherfuckers are kind of correcting. They've tricked you into thinking that a mistake was made and now we're going to correct this shit through science or, through human means.
What are some other things that you think that we are being misled about?
Okay.
I personally
Maybe
feel like
maybe you just write a book.
he's definitely a book writer. Oh my God.
Everybody tells me to do
He's
this.
such a book writer. Oh.
All right. I'm going to just say it, man. And like, nobody's going to want to chat. Don't. I get flack for this because most people sound crazy when they say this shit. But trust me, I've studied this, got into it to disprove it. There's no disproving it. We do not live on a spinning ball, people. Let me look in my camera.
For real.
We do not live on a spinning ball.
It's flat.
It's flat. Any motherfucker that tells me we didn't go to the edge and jump off, I'll slap the shit out of you and choke the fucking shit out of you because that's not how it works, you dumb fucks. The sun and the moon are within our atmosphere. They are not all as far away as they say they are. We are the center of the universe. Everything is revolving around us. We are not revolving around anything. The planets are not solid things that you can land on and all this. The moon is not a solid thing. What else? The sun is not a fucking fireball in the sky. What else? There is no South Pole. What else?
But you know what? They lie about these things, and it's like, why does it even matter? Some of these things.
Why does it matter? Because
some of it I just
God out of the equation.
Got it.
So you think science replaces God in their eyes?
Yes. Your new deacons and priests are the scientists. Back in the days, people would listen to, those people for answers about the universe and all of that.
Yeah.
Now you go to the scientists.
Yeah.
But you do think there's value in scientists in general?
I think there's value in true science, not scientism. See, there's a religion of science and there's real science.
Mm.
See, real science you can observe something, repeat it, and all of that type of shit. You cannot, anything else outside of that is pseudoscience, right? If you can't do an experiment and repeat it and all of that type of shit multiple times and get data from that, it's pseudoscience, right? So now you find me a spinning ball that you can make water stick all the way around that motherfucker as it spins and stick to that. Do that in an experiment. And I'll apologize for ever bringing this up.
I mean, I think you're a genius just because there's so much that you've said in the past that makes so much sense. For example, you talk about science. We talk about medicine. We talk about medication. We talk about the fact that there's fruits that you can eat that's proven to kill cancer cells.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them is a popular Caribbean fruit.
Soursop.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's proven to kill cancer cells. And people, when they go on these journeys.
They won't. They'll damn near make something like that illegal.
When you go to your trip, say you are fearful that you're not doing that well and you go to certain countries, you can go and eat these fruits and be around nature. And some people come back healthier than they've ever been. The bottom line is you're right. A lot of our medicine comes from plants, right? But
all medicine comes from,
right,
even their medicines derive originally from a plant.
And the only difference is concentration, blah,
just
blah,
make
blah.
it synthetic.
Yeah. Okay, cool. But there's just so much truth to some of these old principles that exist. And it's interesting how everything comes back to the old teachings.